Okay, let's do our baseline base typography, a font for the majority of the website or interface. We're going to use a standard size, so let's just paste it in here to see what it looks like. I'm just going to have to paste some text into here so we can see what it looks like. Let me just find some text somewhere that a paragraph is useful. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. Just make sure it's 100%. There we go. Okay, and this is pretty standard stuff. So we have Inter, which is a nice font, standard font, good one for UIs. 16 pixel spacing, 16 pixel font size, which is absolutely normal. And we've opted for a 24 line height here, which gives it a 1.5 scale, 150% line height, which makes it just a little bit more readable. Now, we need to create our design system variables so that this is part of our design system. Now, right? So let's go to our variables. We are in the theme. We're going to create a new variable in our theme for fonts. First of all, we're going to need the name of the font. So I'm going to group it again. I'm going to call it font. And then the first thing we want is the font family. So as you can see, the font group has now been added, and the family is going to be Inter, as we saw. And now we need the sizes. So while we're in this group, let's create the sizes we said. So font size M, our base size, is going to be 16, as we said. And let's also create our line height. So font, let's call it line height. Medium, because each size would need its own line height. And this one is 24, 150%, 1.5. So now we have our general data here. We can go into our typography. We can create a new text style to add to our design system. I'm going to call it body medium and describe it as basic font style, basic body style, basically. Okay, now we have body medium, and we've got to make sure that it's using our tokens. So here, let me close that. In the fonts, we have to apply the variable, and as you can see, we have the Inter there. So now that is using our font family from the design system variables. We're not going to do this right now. That can stay. We've got to add our variable for the font size medium. So font size medium, and the line height medium, as we said. These we not going to touch, and if we did, we would have to add variables. We're not going to do that, at least for now. So now we're good to go. Font family is linked, size is linked, line height is linked. We now have this inside our system ready to be used on any page. Now, just for linking it to the grid system, how does that work? So if we look at our layout grids and we apply them here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but you remember we created a 16 height baseline grid. Now if you just line this up here, as you can see, this is 16 pixels with an 8 pixel gap, which equals 24, which is our line height. So now you can see we can start to plan out how we want to use the baseline rhythm to build out our layouts. And this aligns perfectly with it, and that was the point. So now we have a grid system. We have the baseline grid aligns with our typography, and we're going to make sure all of our other elements follow this rhythm. And that's what will create harmony in your design system. So let's get on to the next stage with our basic font done.